Ahead this morning, questionable conversations with young students. Parent advocate Nicole Neily will tell us about a teacher on leave over a social media video. The battle over controversial topics like critical race theory leading to big wins for conservative school board candidates in Texas. Local races turned out voters and big funding from political action committees. The National Desk's Ryan Smith looks at what this means for the upcoming midterm elections.
School board elections dominated by culture wars could be an early preview of what's to come in November. Those controversial topics proving to be a winning strategy for conservative campaigns in Texas and beyond. Texas conservatives taking a victory lap. Governor Greg Abbott tweeting, conservatives won school board elections across Texas. The power of parents will continue to expand in Texas. NBC News tracking more than 40 candidates across 20 suburban Texas school board elections focused on culture war issues like banning critical race theory.
And so we have a number of parents who are enraged by some of the content that they see in the schools, and they're turning out. And in a low turnout election, that'll make a really big difference, especially like these types of local school board elections.
The 1776 Project, a New York-based political action committee, calling Saturday a clean sweep after funneling out-of-state campaign cash to more than a dozen races. All 15 of our endorsed candidates in Texas school board races won their elections on Saturday.
They don't want this radical approach to education being pushed. They don't want this racist approach. It is critical race theory is state-sanctioned racism.
Packed, fiery school board meetings sparked a national conversation about how involved parents should be in their child's curriculum. Though some school officials now warn of misinformation and the politicalization of school boards at times resulting in threats against teachers and staff.
And that has become even more of a hot button issue for parents.
Political experts say parental rights issues now putting Democrats on defense.
Because if you have to engage with people on an issue they're already fired up about, then you can look like you're explaining. And we have a saying in politics that if you're explaining, you're losing.
And conservative candidates running on this platform have seen resistance in some areas. In Colorado, for example, candidates backed by teachers associations won in Denver and several other surrounding districts. And in many states last fall, it came down to parents wanting to see a fresh face voted in versus an incumbent. In Washington, I'm Ryan Smith for the National Desk.
A fourth grade teacher at a Utah charter school is currently on administrative leave after posting this TikTok video about conversations she has with her students.
My kids from last year are now in 5th grade, and they come visit me almost every day after school. And a lot of them are queer because I am queer, and they figured it out, and so I've become their safe space.
Joining us right now, for reaction on this, Nicole Neily, founder and president of Parents Defending Education. Good morning to you, Nicole. First, the response you have heard from this video.
It's astonishing. And, you know, let's think about how old these children are. 4th grade, those are 9-year-olds, those are 8-year-olds. And so this is a teacher who is abusing her authority by planting these ideas in children's heads. How many 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds come home, come up with the idea of being queer without having a teacher put it there? And, you know, children they want approval, they want their teacher to like them. And so, you know, the term grooming has been thrown around a lot, but, you know, this is seeding ideas into children's heads, and I think that's troubling, and it's no surprise that families are upset.
Well, we reached out to the school for a comment regarding that video. The executive director responded with this statement saying, quote, "We became aware of a concerning video posted to social media by one of our teachers. In the video, the teacher described several inappropriate conversations with former students. The employee has been placed on administrative leave pending a thorough investigation. Our teachers are expected to comport themselves with the highest degree of professionalism. Behavior that is unprofessional in violation of state code or that violates the trust placed in us by the families of Renaissance Academy will not be tolerated." It's clear the school disapproves of the teacher's TikTok video. As a parent, Nicole, what should be the teacher's response when students come to her regarding their sexuality? Ideally, how should situations like this be handled, do you think?
It is not appropriate for teachers to discuss their sexuality with students, particularly young students, but just in general. I mean, you know, a straight teacher would not talk about the marital problem she's having with her husband. And so for this to be the default setting and for this teacher to be trumpeting and bragging about this is disgusting. And so I'm glad that the school has taken action. And I hope this serves as a warning for other teachers. Just don't have those conversations. Our children have faced enormous learning loss over the past 2 years. Get down to business, teach them reading, writing, and arithmetic, and keep your personal business out of the classroom.
And while you're here, I want to update a story that we discussed with Parents Defending Education a few weeks ago. Parents were enraged and voiced their opinion after examples of New Jersey's sex education curriculum standards were made public. There was this outcry to reevaluate the standards. New Jersey State Board of Education, the president of that board, Kathy Goldenberg, shut down requests, though, at a recent meeting. Let's take a look at what she said right here. She said, quote, "There will be no votes taken today whatsoever. It's not on the agenda. We won't be doing it. It's not announced. It won't happen." Now, this review was supposed to be in addition to the review that was requested by New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy. First of all, let's talk about what triggered the response from parents who called for change, and what message is the Board of Education sending to these concerned parents by not reviewing this controversial curriculum?
Sure. I mean, sunshine is the best disinfectant. I think a lot of these board members and school officials are used to operating under total darkness, right? They like doing these things behind closed doors. And so when families find out about it, they're rightfully indignant about it. And, it makes a lot of these bureaucrats very uncomfortable. So I'm not surprised that these people don't want to have a discussion about it because they're used to governing without the consent of the governed. The fact that this has happened, I mean, we just saw what happened in Texas. We're going to continue to see this happen across the country. When people find out that their elected officials dismiss them, disregard them, and frankly don't want to hear their input, it makes them angry. And I think there will be repercussions in the future.
What influence do parents have when it comes to curriculum taught in the classroom?
Sure. We always tell people start small. Talk to your teacher. Let them know you have concerns, because I think there are some teachers who really genuinely don't know, I didn't realize this was objectionable. They're open to a conversation. But we always tell parents, if you don't get the answer you want, go to the principal. If you don't get the answer there, go to the superintendent. If you don't get that answer, go to the school board. But keep pushing and keep pushing, because at the end of the day, these are paid for with your tax dollars, and the buck stops with you. We have seen over the past 2 years, parents are the only ones who have our children's interests at heart. All of the people who we thought were taking care of our children, teachers unions, schools, bureaucrats, they don't. They're interested in money and power. And so we have to advocate for our children because no one else will.
All right, Nicole Neily, we appreciate you joining us this morning. Thank you.